Hello there guys, welcome back to Vibes Check Politics. Today we are diving into the political firestorm heating up the political scene in Kenya. We have a lot to unpack. Gen Zs are planning a massive memorial in memory of those who died in the last year's protests. The opposition is threatening to drag President Ruto to International Criminal Court or ICC. The government is getting roasted for blowing up budgets despite preaching austerity. And Ruto is out here saying that Kenya's economy is 6th in Africa. Yeah, it's a lot. It's messy. Let us get into it. But before we do, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that ring button so that you don't miss a vibe check on what is going on in Kenya and beyond. Let's roll. Alright, let us kick things with a story I know you are buzzing about. The Gen Z march set for June 25th, 2025, right here in Nairobi. If you are active on X, or you're just breathing in Kenya, you have probably heard about it. Nairobi police have confirmed that they have been notified about this march.
For the 25th, we have got what we call an enhanced plans for that. The letter which was delivered to Central, we are equally having that copy of the intents. What I would want to urge our publics, let's restrict ourselves to what we call peaceful demonstrations.
Which is meant to honor the 60 people, mostly the young people, who lost their lives during the 2024 anti-finance bill protest. Those protests, if you need a refresher, were a massive youth-led uprising against tax hikes that the government tried to ram through. The pressure was so massive that President Ruto had to scrap the bill entirely. That's the power of Gen Z you are. So why does this matter? Well, it's a reminder that Kenyans are not just scrolling on TikTok. They are out here holding the government accountable. The 2024 protests were a turning point, showing that young people can shift the political landscape. Those protests did not just make Ruto reject the finance bill. It made him realize that he needs to rethink how he engages with the young generation. The fact that this march is still happening in 2025 shows that a year later, people are still angry and have not moved on, still grieving and still demanding justice for those who died. And with the police on edge, you can bet this event is gonna be a flashpoint. And what is my take? I love that Gen Zs are keeping the pressure on, because it's not just remembering the foreign. It's a statement to show the government that they can't just move on like nothing happened. But I'm also worried, because protests in Kenya have proved that they can turn chaotic at any time, and especially when police get involved. So to everyone planning to march, stay safe, stay peaceful, and keep the message loud and clear. So what do you think? Are you going to the march, or do you think it's risky given how things have turned out recently? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us keep the conversation going. Next up, we have some serious drama blowing up in the opposition camp. They are not just coming for President Ruto, they are threatening to haul him into the International Criminal Court or the ICC for what they are calling crimes against humanity. Yeah, you heard that right. And this is tied to the police brutality during the young generation's protests, including those of 2024 finance bill that we just talked about. One of the opposition leader, Martha Karua, clapped back at Ruto's recent comments about the fact that Ruto is not planning to hand over power to the current opposition, saying that Ruto undermines constitutional democracy and that the current system or the current constitution does not allow the president to prevent anyone from assuming office. The opposition has also been hammering President Ruto on how the government is handling dissent, saying that the government is afraid of people who criticize them. Okay, let us break this down. The ICC is a bold move, but it's not exactly new in the Kenyan politics. If you have been around long enough, you know Ruto himself faced ICC charges over a decade ago for the 2007-2008 post-election violence. Those charges were later dropped. So the opposition are pulling the ICC card. It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. But here's the catch. Getting a case to ICC is not that easy. You need solid evidence and international support, and a whole lot of political goodwill. Plus, Ruto has got some strong grip on power, and Kenya itself is not exactly strange to dodging political accountability. What is my take on this? This feels like a political flex more than a realistic threat, at least for now. The opposition is trying to keep Ruto on his toes, especially with the elections looming in 2027. But this also shows how there is a deep divide between the government and its critics. Police brutality is a real issue, and tying it to crimes against humanity is a way to amplify the stakes. I'm curious though, what do you think? Is ICC a legit move to hold Ruto accountable? Or is this just the opposition grandstanding? Hit me up in the comments. Now, let us talk about some numbers that have Kenyan side-eyeing the government. The Kenya Kwanza government is now being dragged for what is being called the budget hypocrisy. President Ruto has been preaching austerity, tightening belts, cutting spending, and all that jazz. But according to a Citizen TV post on X, the State House budget has doubled to 12 billion, and the Deputy President's office get a boost of about 500 million. Meanwhile, regular Kenyans are out here struggling with the cost of living. These budget hikes has been raising eyebrows, especially after Ruto had promised to cut government spending. So what is the deal? Because the government is saying that the funds are for special operations. Why are you telling people to tighten their belts while yours is ballooning? It's a bad look. Critics are saying this is a betrayal of the austerity pledge, and it is fueling distrust, especially among the youths who already feel ignored. You know, economic grievances were a huge driver of the 2024 finance bill protests, and this kind of spending is not helping the Ruto's case. So what is my take on this? This is a classic case of do as I say, but don't do as I do. The government needs to realize that optics matter. Doubling the State House budget while people are struggling to buy something like unga, that is a PR disaster. And with the Gen Z march coming up, this could be a fuel on the fire. What do you think? Does this budget stuff make you mad? Or is it just politics as usual? Let me know below and let us move to the next one. Finally, let us talk about President Ruto's big moment at his cabinet retreat. The man was out here dropping some bold claims.
Inflation is down from 9.6 to 3.8. As a result, our economy has improved from being the 8th largest economy in Africa to being the 6th largest economy in Africa.
Saying that the Kenya's economy has grown to the 6th largest in Africa, and 23 million Kenyans are already registered under Social Health Authority, or SHA, which is their new health push. He also said that re-election is not his focus, that his focus is on delivering to Kenyans. So let us unpack this. First, the economic claim. 6th largest in Africa? That's a flex. Kenya is climbing the ranks. But overtaking countries like Algeria and Morocco is a big deal, and we would need hard data to back that up. The SHA registration to 23 million, that sounds impressive for the government. But as we all know, the program's rollout had a lot of hiccups. People are complaining about its access and coverage issues. And Ruto is saying that he's not focused on re-election. Come on. It's politics. That is like me saying I'm not focused on getting likes on this video. Sure.
Why waste the nation's time waiting for a second term merely because you are working on difficult things? Why don't you finish the difficult things now? You know? If there is a second term, there is plenty of things to be done.
So what is my take? Ruto is trying to sell a success story, but the timing is rough. With the Gen Z march and the budget backlash brewing, a lot of Kenyans are not feeling the economic boom that he is talking about. This SHA is a good idea on paper, but it's not working for the average mwananchi. It's just noise. I'm just curious. Do you buy Ruto's claims, or does it feel like a political spin? Drop your thoughts and let us wrap this up. Phew, that was a lot. Kenya's politics is giving us a lot of drama right now. Gen Z Memorial March keeping the pressure on. The opposition throwing the ICC threats, budget hypocrisy sparking outrage, and Ruto's huge economic claim that is trying to change the narrative. It's a wild time to be a Kenyan, and the next days, especially the June 25th march, will be very crucial. So here is my final take. Kenya is at a crossroads. The youth are fired up, the opposition is swinging, and the government is trying to play defense. But what happens next depends on whether people feel heard or ignored. I am rooting for a peaceful dialogue, but I'm also bracing for more tension. What about you? What is the vibe that you're getting from all this? Hit the comments and share your thoughts, and let us keep the conversation going. If you're loving Vibes Check Politics, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, peace!